Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, hi Manish. How are
Hi,
you?
Rahul. I'm good. How are you?
I'm also doing good. Thank you for asking. Okay, so let's start with your mock interview. So
Yeah.
first, can you please go through your past experience, what you have done, on which cloud you have worked, and on which area basis specifically you have worked on in Salesforce, specifically to the development as well as the configuration. Please go ahead.
Okay. Coming to my current project, I'm working on the payer project, and in the payer project, I have working on the Sales Cloud, and I am working on the account and contact management in that cloud. And based on the business requirements, I'll get some configurations and Apex code improvements and configuration on that code, and some simple triggers I have worked on, and any some kind of changes which is required from the business. Then we will work on those requirements, and my key responsibilities also will be on that only.
So, how do you get a work like, from your business? Like, how did you get?
Actually, there will be a mediator, like some technical person or the one which who will have the idea on the functionality of the tool. So they'll get contact with us regarding the requirement, or if any changes in that current application, that they have to make any changes on that. With that, we will get a report, or through mail we'll get the requirement of the client. So on that basis, we'll work on the changes or improvements. If any. You're talking on mute.
Oh, sorry. So, let's start with the some Salesforce admin question, and then we'll move to the development. As you said, like, you work on the Sales Cloud. So, I'm just going to
Yes.
ask only Sales Cloud question. So can you describe an example like sales process that a company might implement it? I mean, you have implemented in your past experience, how we can implement the sales process in Salesforce.
Sales process is like first from we'll get the requirement. After that, we'll have the campaigns, which is the advertisement. Through advertisement, uh, we'll get the accounts and contacts of that requirement. So after that, we will have some opportunities on that, which is the leads. If leads are okay, then we'll get uh, the reject or approval process. Then we will get the codes, if any requirement on that advertisement. Uh,
Okay. So as you talk about the approval process, right? So have you worked on the approval process in your project?
No, the application is on that account and contact management only, so I didn't
Okay,
get
so
chance on that.
so you did not get a chance to work on approval process, right?
Yes.
But as a developer, like we should have the knowledge like how the approval process work, right? So okay. So do you know what is the difference between data and metadata in Salesforce?
Yeah, data is like the records, the values of the records, which is in the Salesforce, and metadata is that all the fields and those data which we enter in the record. For in the simple case, we can say metadata is about the data.
Okay. So what is the major difference here? I mean, as a technical person, what is the major difference between data and metadata?
Data we can enter. Mm, we
Okay,
will
no.
store the data record data also in the metadata.
Mhm.
The data is just like the one which we enter manually. The simple data we can store.
Okay. Okay. Uh, okay. So let's move to the next question. Where can you view Salesforce system status and schedule maintenance in Salesforce organization?
Sorry, system.
Where can you view Salesforce system status and schedule maintenance?
You mean that schedule jobs and all, right? Or-
No, 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 no. See, so basically you have the Salesforce organization, right?
Mm.
Whenever you open the Salesforce, there is a, one option in the setup organization, right? So if you go to the organization, you will find the your status of Salesforce. It is requiring the, maintenance and all. Okay. Uh, let's move to the next question. In Salesforce, how many ways you can make the field required?
There are like while creating the field, we can make it as a field required, and through page layout also we can make the field as required, and
Mhm.
through some validation tool we can make it as a required.
So these are first option is while you are creating the field, so you can make it required, right? On the page layout or what you said.
Yes, yeah, through
One
page
option is
layout
page
also we can.
layout and next option is validation. Any other?
Mm, Not sure, like there will be four options. With I think with the program also we can make it as the field required.
Okay. Okay. So have you get a chance to work on flows?
Yes, like simple trigger flows are like sending the emails and all. Okay.
Okay. So let's say you need to maintain the order of execution in Salesforce flow. Okay, there are multiple flow. So I just want to understand your understanding and your approach here. So let's say there is a one object and account object has a three flow. Okay. So
Mhm.
now business want is to implement all the best practices here, right? So what are the best practices you will make sure here in terms of Salesforce flow?
The Salesforce flow firstly we'll get that for the account only one flow will be suitable,
Mhm.
and we have to make sure that per object only one flow should be there. If any additional changes, we'll make sure that it should be included in that flow only if possible. Then if any fault paths will be there, then we have to make sure that fault path also should be there in that
But
flow.
sorry to interrupt you, what is the use of fault path in Salesforce flow?
So if any errors or occurs, then we can check in that fault path.
Okay. And how do you
And
handle the exception handling in here? Basically, you just add the fault path. That is the only one thing, or you have to do something else to get the proper error.
proper error, there will be another option also, like Salesforce failure and some failure and success interview. Some option will be there in the setup. If we check on that, then the error which will occur on the flows, it will be visible there also. So we can check on that.
Okay. So let's say if I want to call the LWC component through a flow, how can I do that? And from which flow is it possible to call the LWC component? Can we call the LWC component from record trigger flow?
Yeah, it is possible only from the record trigger flow LWC component.
Okay. So you are saying okay, we can call the LWC component from the record trigger flow, right?
Yes.
And do you feel is there any configurational things required to into your LWC component while you are calling I mean LWC component through a flow?
Like, is there any changes that we should do in the? Hello.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just asking to you what you feel here, like the configuration things are required to make it feasible.
Mm, I am not sure about that.
Okay, no problem. So I have one more question. So in your past experience, do you ever feel like, the flows are not will be work in such scenarios, XYZ scenarios, whatever you had in your past experience, and you have to move to the trigger or let's say some batch class or etc. So do you have any kind of experience in your past projects?
No, like mostly there will be some kind of simple logics only. So we'll work on that flows. We'll try to work on that flows only,
Okay.
creating the flows.
Okay. So, let's say I have a requirement. I need to build a custom of, you can say a custom page, or you can say a custom requirement. Basically, whenever there is a one field, you can say user input, right? So whenever user will fill email address in that field, so system should return all the record against that email address exist. Either it was the contact account, contact record, either it's a lead record, or either it's a custom object record, or either it's a any other object record. Whatever object are exist and those are having the same email address, so system will throw that records into my display along with it object wise. Let's say this is the account record ID and email address. This is the contact email address and name, something like that. So how can you achieve this, or what things you have to make sure here?
Yeah, like whenever user enters the email, then the records which is involved in that email, that record should be displayed, right?
Right, right.
Okay. Mm.
As you know, like in Salesforce Global, whenever you search email address, so it show all the potential record which are exist in
Mm.
Salesforce, right?
Yes, yes.
Either it's contact, either it's user, or either it's case record, whatever is it, but system. So like that I want to make one custom implementation here. We should work like this. Okay, no problem. Let's move to the next question. So here basically you have to build one LWC component, okay? And through the LWC component, you have to call Apex class, and in the Apex class, you have to use the SOSL query, right? So using the SOSL query, you can retrieve all the related records into the Salesforce. So in that way, you will be able to achieve this. Okay, so my next question is, what is the person account and what are the feature of it? Like why organization basically need the person account when we have the business account?
Person account is like uh, the accounts which separately for the person it will be there, right? So business accounts are like it may involve all the business users in in that account. So person account is like the individual account of that business person. So so he can have his own his own like any teams, all that kind of maintenance he can do in the person account.
Okay, okay, great. What are the governance limits in Salesforce, and how do you can make sure while you are writing the codes, what are the best practices you follow in your past project or current implementation?
Yeah, the governor limits are like it will trigger in a phase of component cycle. If the system tries to trigger apart from the limit time limit, then the governor limits will be triggered. The governor limits can be uh, we can control that governor limits by not using the for loops. Sorry, not using the DML in the for loops or uh, like more nested for loops we should avoid, or we can use the try catch.
Sorry to interrupt you, Manas. So I just
Mm.
have the question, okay, why Salesforce introduce governor limit? What is the reason behind of it?
So like there will be like while running the components there may be some time limit will be there. Apart from the time limit, if the component is trying to run again, like it is extending the time limit, then the governor limits may occur. And yeah, like more it will not show the more complex of the code.
Okay, so let me move to the next question. So do you know when we create a custom object in Salesforce, so what are the by default object get created into the Salesforce?
um, like name,
No, no,
created
I'm not
date.
asking about the field. I'm asking about, let's say, you created a student object, okay, into the Salesforce.
Okay.
So along with the student object, what are the default object automatically get created into the Salesforce along with the student?
Not sure, like objects of
Do you
created.
hear about the history object? Do you hear about the share object? So see what happen is whenever you create an custom object or Salesforce has itself a standard object. So those are multiple version of objects, right? They have the, let's say, account sharing record, account history record, right? So such records will have in the. Can you please share your screen and write a one Apex trigger if you can do? So what I need is whenever opportunity is getting closed won, okay,
Mm.
so it should update the count on the account record. So only the closed won opportunity. You can share your screen and write the main logic. I'm not talking about the best practice, but just asking about the write the logic for it. Okay.
Okay. Mm. Old menu, purchased. So can you repeat the scenario, please?
Yeah. So scenario is
Mm.
what you need to do is whenever uh, opportunities get closed won, so system should update the count on the account record. There is a one custom field on the account. You can say, close one opportunity count on the account level. So you should update the count always, like it inserts in whenever a opportunity is in deleting, updating, and inserting into the system. Do you get the question?
Whenever the closed opportunity, sorry,
See,
opportunity is closed on,
whenever the
then
opportunity is getting close won, either the
mm,
insertion time, either the updating time, or either the deletion time. So it should update the count on the account. Let's say there is a account A, right? And A
okay.
account has the three opportunity X, Y. First, you create the X opportunity with the negotiate stage, but then what happen is you create the Y opportunity with the close one stage. So automatically
Okay.
system should update the count, kind of roll up summary, okay? And when
Yeah.
you created the Z opportunity, but when you update it, you updated the close one. So now system should has the update the count as a two on the account custom field, you can say close count of the opportunity, okay? So
Mm.
like this you have to update the record there. Manas, are you sharing your screen? Because I'm not able to see.
Yeah, I'm sharing comments. It's showing like host disable attendee screen sharing like that.
Now you can share. You can try now.
Okay. Is it visible now? Hello.
Yeah, now I can see your screen. You can just open the notepad.
This is the-
Please try the fast, Manas. We have a less time.
Yeah.
Are you writing a query inside the loop? uh, are you not able to write the trigger?
Yeah, I got this. I was stuck.
Because in interview you will not get that much time, to be honest, Manas. So you have to be practice hard to write a logic or to understanding the logic. So keep practicing is the only key you can improve yourself. Okay, no worries. Let me ask some more question so then we can wrap up this call, and later on I'll provide you the feedback. So my
Yeah,
next
sure.
question is to you. Have you ever worked on the batch class?
Yeah, like I have worked on it.
Okay. So do you know there is two things, database.query locator and database.iterator. So I want to understand
Yes.
from you in which scenario which thing we should use while we are working on the batch class.
Mm, database or query locator will not have the, I mean, we can't write the some uh, programmatical logics in that database dot query locator, but in the database dot iterator we can write some logics on that also. If we want to query more if we want to query the records, then we can use the database dot query locator, and in the iteratable, uh, we can query the records, and in the same way we can provide some logics on that query also.
Okay. And if let's say if I want to make the call out through the batch class, so what should I do? I can directly write the code or there is some interface I need to implement.
Yeah, there is an interface in the batch class called database dot allow callouts. If we write that interface only, it will allow the callouts to call.
Okay. So basically, what is the interface in programming language and why we used it in our development?
Interface, there won't be any method, just with the help of interface, we just call the methods. There won't be any logic inside that interface. This interface will be called through a keyword called implements keyword.
No, no.
In that,
See, what I was
sorry.
asking is, what is an interface? I mean, what is the advantage? See, whatever we are using in our development or in our coding or whatever is it, so there is something used for it. So why we use interface? That's my question to you.
That interface is just like if any some there won't be any main code in the interface. So which to just call the class in the other classes, we will just have this interface. It's just like a mediator in between the two classes.
So you mean there is a class, what I can say, database.callout, right? Which we
Okay.
implement. Are you sure that is the class or is it something else?
Sorry, data.
So you said we implement the interface just because of to implement a Apex class, right? So there is a class, as you said, the interfaces work as a mediator, right?
Mm,
Okay, but it is not the scenario. You should read out about the interface and complete understanding. Okay.
okay.
So why we should use without keyword. And as you know, whenever we writing any Apex code, so by default it's without sharing. Then it's still why we should write the keyword without sharing, even though we don't mention without sharing in our Apex class, but it's still that class is without sharing if we are not implementing the with sharing. So why we should write this keyword if we have this, things already there by default? What is the reason?
Like while in some case scenarios, if we are calling the inner classes, then we should write this keyword with or without sharing. If, for example, there is a class with uh, there is a class A, and inside that class A there are some class B also. There is an inner class which is called B, and there is a without sharing, and in that we call a method. That method will inherit the without sharing properties which class B has. If we don't write without sharing, then it will inherit the properties of class B. To differentiate this, we will use the with or without sharing keywords in that case.
Okay. Okay, that's great. Can I call a future method inside the batch class?
Future, no, we can't call the future
Why?
method inside the batch
Why
class.
we can't call?
We'll get some errors or it may hit the governor limit, so we can't call directly, or
Okay.
there is no chance to call them.
So as you know, we have a future method and we have the queuable class, right? In Salesforce, both are the asynchronous process. So what is the use of future method when we have the queuable class? Is it Salesforce still has some need to keep the future method, or we can just remove the future method and still, I mean, we can continue with the queuable? Or you feel personally like is there any need of the keep maintain both these uh, approach, or you can say mechanism in Salesforce for asynchronous?
Both, yeah, both even though both the future and the queuable or the asynchronous, and it has their own differences and the similarities in between them. If we want to call both the future and the batch classes, then we can use these queues, and if we are having the callouts, then it is useful to use the future methods. And if we want to if we want to monitor any job, there will be a job ID in the queue. So with that help of the job IDs, we can monitor the components. And yeah, future will support only primitive data types like integer string like that, but in the queuable they support both the non-primitive and the primitive data types, which is the collections or list in the queues.
Okay.
If we want to perform like if we want to call both batch or future in the classes, then we can use the queuable. If not, we can use the future, or it depends on the requirement.
Okay. Have you also a part of any deployment in your projects?
Deployments may like any major deployments like that, or
No, deployments, let's say you are working, I mean, your manager or technical team given you some task, to write a trigger or to write a flow. Now, definitely you will not write this in production, right? You have to write this in some developer org or some scratch org or whatever your business is using. And now for after testing and all, you have to move it to production, right? For go live.
Hmm.
So
Yes, yes.
how will you make the deployment from one org to another org?
Yeah, before we are using a tool, and like there will be a separate team for the deployment. We'll just make the changes in the dev. Before we are using Copado. Recently, they have changed from Copado to Git. We are currently working on that for the deployments and all.
Okay. Okay, great. One last question is for you. What is the difference between custom setting and custom metadata?
Custom settings or like custom objects only if we have if we want to pass the data uh, through a record, we can use the custom settings, but in the custom metadata types, it can be visible for the user directly, like if any if any sensitive data is there, it can be visible for users directly, but in the custom settings that sensitive data will be formed in the kind of record only, so that sensitive data can't be visible for all the users. And custom metadata type is like it will store the record values and the data